Hello students, welcome back. So students, today's English class we will be continuing with our chapter 11. In the first part we have already read about I have read the entire poem for you. We also understood about the poet. Okay. So now in this class we will move further. Here you have the stanza on your screen. I will be reading out to you and explaining. So I hope you have opened that page. So let me read it out for you. Thank you so much for your questions. I have read them all carefully through, but there isn't a single one of them that I know the answer to. Now here, if you remember, the student, that is he or she's sitting in the examination hall. She has received the question paper, but unfortunately she's not prepared. She doesn't know a single answer, so she decides to write a letter to the examiner. So this is what she has written. Thank you so much for your questions. I have read all the questions carefully. This is what she's saying, but there isn't a single one of them that I know the answer to. The student doesn't know a single answer. Let us move ahead. I have written my name as instructed, put the year, the month and the day, but after I had finished doing that, I had nothing further to say. In the letter she's mentioning that I have written my as instructed, the name was written, I have written my name, I have put the date, I have written the date, the month, the year, but after I had finished doing that, now I had nothing further to say. The student is saying the name was in the name column. You write now for the examination, when you get your answer sheet, you fill in the names and all. Same way this student has also done all that procedure. But now what further? He doesn't know what to write further. Let us move ahead. So I thought I would write a letter fairly informally. So now she's saying that since I don't know a single answer, I have decided to write a letter fairly informally. Informally means like a personal sort of a letter, not a formal letter, about what's going on in the classroom and what it's like to be me. She's writing about her particular position, her situation, like what is going on in the classrooms, who is doing what, her observation, and what it is like to be in her position, like if you face such a situation, how it will be like. So she's just jotting down her observations, her or his. Let us move ahead. We'll go to the next stanza. Mandy has written 10 pages, but it's probably frightful guff. Now, I repeat, Mandy has written 10 pages, but it's probably frightful guff, and Angela Smith is copying the answers of her cuff. Now, she's talking about her fellow students now. Mandy, some student is there, Mandy. She's seeing what others are doing. So she's saying that Mandy has written 10 pages, but it's probably frightful guff. Guff means nonsense. She's just written something like it's not making any sense. So she's just assuming that Mandy has written 10 pages, but probably it's nonsense. And Angela Smith is copying. So there's another classmate, Angela Smith, and she's just trying to copy the answers of her cuff. Next, Miss Quinlan is marking our homework. The clock keeps ticking away. For anyone not in the classroom, it's just another day. Who's Miss Quinlan? It's their teacher. She is also marking their homework. The clock is ticking away. For anyone not in the classroom, it's just another day. for somebody who is absent from that classroom scene, it is just a normal day. Now, further, the student is writing, mothers buying groceries, grandmothers drinking tea, unemployed men doing crosswords, or watching crowing court on TV. Now she's just thinking how it will be like a normal day when if you are not in that particular classroom. The mother must be buying groceries, grandmother must be drinking tea, then unemployed men means some men who are not having any work to do, they must be solving the crosswords, or they must be watching this particular program crowing court on TV. So this is what this student is assuming, and she's jotting down her observations in her answer sheets. The drizzle has finally stopped here. Drizzle means slight rain, it's raining. The sun just started to shine, and in a black garden in Sefton Road, a housewife hangs shirts on the line. Now she's just having look around outside also. She's seeing that it had stopped drizzling. The sun has just set in, and in a back garden there, she has seen a garden in that particular Sefton Road. She can see a housewife, a woman hanging shirts on she's putting her shirts to dry on the line. Let's move ahead. A class chatters by to play tennis. Now she's talking about some other class. Chatters by to play tennis. The cathedral clock has just pealed. Pealed means a loud, it's a ringing sound of that clock. It means that the motor chugs steadily back and forth. Motor chugs means it's a particular sound, slow sound of an engine, like repeated sound, slow, low sound. Mowing the hockey field. Maybe mowing the hockey field means they are just leveling the grass, they are chopping the grasses and clearing the hockey field. So the student is describing, like she's assuming, because since she doesn't know what to write, she just jotting down her observations, what all she can see from her place. Now let us move ahead. Miss Quinlan's just seen what I have written. Her face is an absolute mask. Now, if you remember, if you when you appear for your exam and you are seated in your classroom, students, the teacher moves about, right? During the examination time, she wrote through your benches, rows. She keeps on moving. So sometimes teacher also peeps in your answer sheet. So here also Miss Quinlan just seen what I have written. The teacher happens to peep in her answer sheet, and after seeing her answer sheet, the teacher's an absolute mask. Like there was a blank look in her expression, her face. Before she collects the paper, I have one little favor to ask. Now she's saying that she's thinking that before she takes my paper, I have to ask her one favor. So all these things are the student is jotting down, and what feelings she's having in her mind, she's just going on penning it down. Now let's see. I thought your questions were lovely. There is only myself to blame, but couldn't you give me something for writing the date and the name? Now this student, she's in the previous stanza. Let's look at the last line. I have one. Before Miss Quinlan collects a paper, she wants to ask her one favor. As to what is that favor? Now here she is writing, I thought your questions were lovely. She is not criticizing the questions at all. She's saying the questions were very good, very lovely. There is only myself to blame. I only have not studied and prepared for the exam, so I should blame myself. But couldn't you give me something for writing the date and my name? Now she knows that she's not going to get any marks, so she's just silently requesting her teacher that I have written my name and the date also in the answer sheet, so you can give me something, some marks you can give me. So this is what the student is conveyed through her letter to the examiner. So students, this was the story, this was the poem that we came across, and I hope it's a very simple poem. So now students, we will move ahead and we will just look at the question given on your screen. What is the rhyme scheme of this poem? Now we will go back to the first para here. Now we have read the poem, we have understood these lines. Now let us see what rhyme scheme we can give for this particular stanza. So thank you so much for your question. Again, I am reading the first line, that is, thank you so much for your question. Look at the last word, questions. I have read them all carefully through. Now, so the first line, questions, you can write there as small a. Okay. Now, look at the next line. I have read them all carefully through. Now, it doesn't rhyme with the first line, so we give it as B. Okay. Next one. But there isn't a single one of them. Again, this is that them word doesn't rhyme with the words that is given in the first line and the second line, that is questions through, and the third line last word is them, so we will have to give an next alphabet, that is C. Now look at the fourth line, that I know the answer to. Now here to, see the sound how it is going. So let's look at the second line, carefully through, and that I know the answer to. The sound is coming, similar sound you can get here. So you give here alphabet B. Okay. So in this particular stanza, the rhyme scheme is A, B, C, B. I hope students you have understood this. So rhyme scheme of this particular stanza is A, B, C, B. Now let's move ahead. Let us go to the next stanza. I have written my name as instructed. Here we will give alphabet A. Put the year, the month and the day. It doesn't rhyme, so we'll give it as B. But after I had finished doing that, again this doesn't rhyme, so C. I had nothing further to say. Say. Now here, just look at the second line. B, second line is put the year, the month and the day. Day and say, fourth line. They rhyme with each other. So the fourth line we will give the alphabet D. So here again the rhyme scheme of this stanza is A, B, C, B. Let's move ahead. I thought I would write you a letter. Okay. Alphabet A, fairly informally, about, next line, about what's going on in the classroom. and what it's like to be me. Now look at the second line, fairly informally. Doesn't rhyme with the first line, so I'll give alphabet B. About what's going on in the classroom. This 2 doesn't rhyme, so alphabet C. And what it's like to be me. Now sound, just pay attention to the sound. The second line, informally, and what it's like to be me. So the sound rhymes, that is why the fourth line we are giving the same alphabet B. So the rhyme scheme of this stanza is also A, B, C, B. Now let's move to the next stanza, students. Mandy has written 10 pages. Okay, so this is, here is, we write alphabet A, but it's probably writing guff. Again, this doesn't rhyme, so we have to give a next alphabet B. And Angela Smith is copying. We will give this alphabet C. The answers of her cuff. Okay, so similar sound, you got it in the second line, guff and cuff. So here we will write the alphabet B. So the rhyme scheme of this particular stanza is A, B, C, B. I hope students you are getting this. So shall we move to the next stanza? Yes. Miss Quinlan is marking our homework. Homework, alphabet A. The clock keeps ticking away. Alphabet B, since it doesn't rhyme. For anyone in the classroom, alphabet C. It's just another day. Now day and away. Look at the second line. Away, day. So the alphabet here has to be, that's right, you will write it as B. So the rhyme scheme here is A, B, C, B again for this stanza. Next. Mothers buying groceries. Grandmothers drinking tea. Unemployed men doing crosswords or watching growing coat on TV. Now look at the first line, groceries. Here we will give alphabet A. Grandmothers drinking tea, alphabet B. Unemployed men doing crosswords, yes, alphabet C. The fourth line, O, or watching crowing coat on TV. See the sound. Second line, last word T, and here TV. So the similar sounds here again on the fourth line, alphabet B. So rhyme scheme is A, B, C, B for this particular stanza also. We move ahead. The drizzle has finally stopped here. The sun just started to shine, and in a back garden in Sefton Road, a housewife Housewife hangs shirts on the line. Now look at the first line. The drizzle has finally stopped here. So alphabet A. The sun just started to shine. That is alphabet B. And in a back garden in Sefton Road. Yes, you're right. C. And look at the fourth line, students. Housewife hangs shirts on the line. Now just see the second line, last word, shine and line. So here again we will write alphabet B. So A, B, C, B is the rhyme scheme of this particular stanza. Let's move ahead. A class chatters by to play tennis. Alphabet A. The cathedral clock has just pealed. Alphabet B. A motor chugs steadily back and forth, alphabet C, mowing the hockey field. Now look at the second line, last word, peeled, and the fourth line, last word, field, peeled, field, similar sounds. So the last line, again we are using alphabet B. So A, B and A, B, C, B is the rhyme scheme of this stanza. So let's move ahead. Next. Miss Quinlan just seen what I have written. Here we'll use alphabet A. Okay. Miss Quinlan just seen what I have written. We'll use alphabet A. Her face is an absolute mask. Since nothing is rhyming, we'll use alphabet B. Before she collects in the papers, alphabet C, I have one little favor to ask. So look at the second line, last word mask, fourth line, last word ask, mask, ask. So we will use the alphabet B here. So the rhyme scheme is A, B, C, B. Let us move ahead. Yes. Now here we come to the last stanza of the poem. I thought your questions were lovely. Alphabet A. There is only myself to blame. Alphabet B. But couldn't you give me something for give me something? Alphabet C. For writing the date and my name. Look at the second line, students. Last word blame. Fourth line, last word name. So the alphabet we are using again here, alphabet B. So we have got this rhyme scheme A, B, C, B. So students, have you noted something? This entire poem, the rhyme scheme used is A, B, C, B. So what is the rhyme scheme of this poem? The rhyme scheme is A, B, C, B. I hope you have understood this. So students, we have finished with the poem. Now let us check whether we are able to answer some few questions. Now here you have this question for you. What does the student decide to do after seeing the question paper? Now I'm sure you know this answer. After the student has what does he decide? Why does he decide? Because he was not at all prepared for the exam. He had not studied. So but he was feeling very embarrassed to submit the empty sheet. So what he decides? What does he decide? The student decides to write a letter to the teacher about the happenings in the classroom and his her state of mind. Okay, so this is the answer. She decides to write a letter to the teacher about the happenings in the surroundings in the classroom and his or her state of mind. We move ahead. What is Miss Quinlan doing? Now who's Miss Quinlan? She is the teacher. What was she doing? Let us check how we can frame this answer. Miss Quinlan is marking their homework. There was a line mentioned in the poem. Miss Quinlan is marking their homework. So students, we have almost completed this poem, and it's a very interesting poem. You have to read this poem, understand it. I'm sure you have understood this poem. It's a very simple poem. Keep seeing the videos, students, again and again. I will be sending you the notes also, and you can complete write those notes in your class workbook. So till we meet in the next class, students, have a nice day.